New questions surrounding a little-known opposition research firm called Fusion GPS and what role it may have played in Russian election meddling. The firm was responsible for the unverified anti-Trump dossier, and its co-founder was set to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee, where he would have been asked who paid to put that dossier together. An op-ed in the Wall Street Journal arguing it's a direction that Democrats do not want to go. Turns out Democrats are willing to give up just about anything, quote, including their Manafort moment to protect Mr. Simpson from having to answer that question. What if all this time Washington and the media have had the Russian collusion story backward? What if it wasn't the Trump campaign playing footsie with the Vladimir Putin regime, but Democrats? The more we learn about Fusion, the more this seems a possibility. Byron York is the chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner and a Fox News contributor. And you were all over this hearing as well yesterday. Good morning to you, Byron.
Good morning, Shannon. Now,
you say you were actually heartened a little bit by this hearing, which was dry at times because there were a couple of key Democratic senators who actually asked some questions about this dossier. Tell us about that.
Well, basically, as far as this dossier is concerned, a lot of Republicans have suggested what you just read in the op-ed, that it's a big, big part of the Russia story and we need to know more about it. On the other hand, a lot of Democrats have shown zero interest in it. They don't really want to know much about it. They think the much bigger story is their version of Trump collusion or obstruction of justice. So what we saw in this hearing yesterday was testimony that the Russian government actually paid this firm, Fusion GPS, to campaign against what's called the Magnitsky Act. We've heard about that lately. It's a sanctions bill, a United States sanctions bill against Russia, which Russia wanted to overturn, and they had this campaign against it. And so Russia actually paid the Fusion GPS for this campaign. Now, at the same time, contemporaneously in 2016, we also know that Fusion GPS was working on this Trump dossier. And the question is, well, who was paying them for that? And we've heard a lot of stories. We've heard that early in the process, maybe some anti-Trump Republican during the Republican primaries was paying for it. Then we've heard during the general election, Democrats, pro-Clinton Democrats, were paying for it. And we still don't know who was.
Well, and it's interesting that over on the House side, we now have a push from within the House Judiciary Committee to push beyond where they believe that Special Counsel Mueller is currently examining. They want to look into some of these other areas. Do you think the Mueller investigation will touch on this Fusion GPS issue?
Well, you know, that's a mystery on Capitol Hill. Some of the people who know the most are trying to figure out this Fusion GPS dossier thing don't know if Robert Mueller is looking into it as well. And I think they want to assure that somebody is, and it needs to be somebody with more power than a congressional committee. It needs to be somebody in the Justice Department. So we did see this letter from the House Judiciary Committee outlining a need for a second special counsel to investigate all sorts of stuff, one of which was the dossier.